Going back to childhood, I bet each of us can remember certain kids that we grew up with. Some good, some not so good, who were leaders among us. Most likely, only the good ones are here today among you, the leaders. But whether at home, the classroom, the ball field, or part of a band, there have always been kids who step forward and lead. And the same is true as we advance in years and become adults. Well, today's first reading from the Book of Wisdom talks about high-level leadership, kings and magistrates. But I think there's an important message for all of us who aren't kings or queens or magistrates, and that is that each of us is called through our actions and words to be a leader. And through our baptism is called to be a Christian leader. Beginning in our families, moms and dads, you choose the course for your children. You choose where you will live, how you'll worship, and how you will try to direct and teach each member of the family so that your lives match up with the will of God. You set the priorities for your family. And you can certainly be supported by grandparents and aunts and uncles and all the rest of the extended family and friends. And you children, you learn through your parents and other family members how to become young Christian leaders too. How to set a good example for brothers and sisters and even classmates. But any parent will tell you that raising children is both rewarding and hard work. And it is a very much a learning process. So whatever age we are today, where do we find the answers on how to be a good Christian leader? And how do we deal with the stressors and the challenges and the weight of responsibility as followers of Jesus Christ? Today's saint, Francis Xavier Cabrini, offers a wonderful example of how to be a Christian leader, especially if in any of our cases we feel that we've hit a roadblock in our lives. St. Francis Cabrini, from the beginning, wished to enter religious life, but because of frail health, she was refused. However, like all of the saints, she persevered in her faith, and she was later put in charge of an orphanage. She took private religious vows, and through her example, a wonderful example, she gathered other like-minded women in the service of these orphans. In short, she trusted in the wisdom of God in her life, and that made all the difference. In 1880, she would go on to found the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart, and she would serve the Italian immigrants of New York with great compassion that touched the lives of so many. To pay the bills, she and her sisters would go door to door, begging from their neighbors, offering a witness to what lengths they would go to serve the neediest of God's children. Her missionary works of charity would take her all the way from Pavia, Italy, to the United States. She would serve in New York, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, New Orleans, and the West Coast. My brothers and sisters, St. Cabrini exemplifies what we are called to do as men and women, boys and girls, to trust in the wisdom of God's teaching. And she reminds us that through learning about God's will and how it is to be lived, that each of us in our own way is capable of much more than we could ever imagine. So let me ask you this, all of us. How is God calling us to be a Christian leader in your home, at work, in your school or parish? That's something that we can pray about with our families, encourage each other, and pray for God's guidance and wisdom. We can also pray that we may seek the Lord's guidance, His inspiration, His courage, and His strength for the times that we feel like St. Francis Cabrini, that we've hit a roadblock, that the Lord will lead us around it, or even sometimes over it, to do His will. And we can remember the first reading, how it ends. The Word of God to guide us, as He says, "Desire therefore my words, long for them, and you shall be instructed." If we do that, then each of us can lead in our own way as we follow Christ all the way to heaven. May God bless you and your families on this holy day.